So today we're going to walk through mobile app marketing. So I'm going to give you an overall introduction to this space. Going to walk through some major pitfalls that a lot of companies fall into on their road to app success. And then I'm just going to walk through some overall growth strategies that you can implement to start getting some visibility and traction to your app. So the truth is, out of the millions of apps that are launched into the App Store every year, 52% of iOS apps don't even reach 1,000 installs, which is kind of the first um, major milestone on your path to app success. The app space is one that is constantly growing. Last year alone, the iOS revenue was $89 billion dollars, and Google Play generated an additional $47 billion dollars in revenue. With so much capital in the space, so much potential revenue to be made, why is it that so few apps are able to really command a significant portion of this market share? There's a number of different reasons why apps are unable to really get the market share that they're looking for. Usually, though, the major reasons that they fail falls under one of these four categories: product strategy, marketing and user acquisition, financial, and data. So starting first with some common product fail points. The first is the belief that everyone is my target market. This belief creates issues at kind of every step of your overall growth. Uh, Prior to your overall launch, when you're developing the product itself, you're not going to know what features your potential audience is really going to care about. You're unable to identify specific needs within a specific target market. Once you're actually launched and you're running advertisement campaigns, you're going to have a really hard time of creating compelling marketing copy that really truly speaks to individuals. You're going to have to be very generic in everything that you're saying and um, try to resonate with everyone. And that is going to be a very tough position to be in. And it's going to be extremely hard to get sustainable user growth if you are unable to really get rid of this belief. Next is poor or no market research. So lack of understanding of the specific market that you're going into. Not really understanding what other options are out there in the market. Not understanding the specific gaps that may present itself that you can really go into and create a really effective product within. Uh, Number three is getting stuck in the pre-launch phase. So over engineering the product at the very beginning, trying to add in every single feature that you've ever thought of prior to your overall launch. This creates some significant issues. One, it's going to cost a lot of money to really develop the product to the nth degree. You're not going to be able to generate any revenue, obviously, because you're not live in the App Store. But you're also going to be going very far down a particular direction without collecting any user feedback. You're not going to understand what parts of your app people really like. You're not going to understand what parts people may not really care about at all. So until you go live, until you start really collecting user feedback, you are going to be playing a guessing game. So you're much better off going to market with a product that may not be fully complete, getting an MVP out there, getting live feedback, understand what people care about, and then starting to develop the additional features from there. Number four is lack of entrepreneur product match. So this can present itself in a number of different ways. One of the common ways that I see this presenting itself is an entrepreneur that is creating a product for a specific market that they themselves are not part of. Let's take a meditation app for example. Someone may have started meditating a little bit within the last 6 months, and they want to develop a product. And they choose the target market of people that have been meditating for 10 to 20 years. They're not going to truly understand the nuances of that market. They're going to have a hard time truly speaking the language of that target market. So they may just miss the mark a little bit and be unable to truly resonate with the people that they need to convince to come onto their product. Another way that this can present itself is lack of specific skill sets that are really important in the mobile app space. I view 3 skill sets as really, really important in this space. One is being a developer. 2 is a growth and marketing skill set. And 3 is a design skill set. I'm not saying if you don't have any of these, just drop your app idea and just never pursue it. Instead, I'm saying just be aware of the position that you are now in. You now need to go out and find people that are able to complete those skill sets. And if you are looking for the best of the best, they do not come cheap. Finding a really good developer may cost a couple $100,000 to get the product to where you want it to go. A marketer, a typical salary for a really good marketer is $100,000 plus. And then a designer, finding a really talented designer is probably the easiest out of those. However, a mobile app is all about design. It's all about the user journey throughout the overall product and keeping people engaged. And having a really good design is of utmost importance. So just understanding the position that you are now going to be in, having to go out and outsource those vital parts, it's going to increase the cost significantly. So just making sure that you are aware of this and you have a financial plan in place that can kind of cover up some of those lack of skill sets. Next is not collecting and implementing user feedback. So just developing the product based off intuition and what you feel like the market wants, and not asking for and incorporating your user insights. Your user insights it's a wealth of knowledge. It gives you a lot of different ideas for directions that you can go with your product. And if they're asking for it, you know that there's a demand, that you know that there's some people that are truly going to care about it. And then finally, no roadmap or a lack of product updates. So in some cases, there is a belief that you build an app, you launch it into the App Store, and your job is done. And this really is not the case. The job is just getting started. Once you've launched into the App Store, you are beginning a new journey. You're beginning the journey of growing this into a profitable business. And there needs to be a belief that there is further testing to always be done. There's iteration on every element of the funnel that can be done that will cause this product to become more profitable, more refined, and offer a greater benefit to your users. Some fail points on the marketing and user acquisition side of things is too much of a focus on installs and not enough on users. So installs are easy to get. You can get installs for 30 cents. There's a lot of different third-party ad networks that you can work with. You can open up targeting worldwide. But the chances of those people actually becoming solid paying customers is very unlikely. So there needs to be a focus on user acquisition and less of a focus on just pure vanity metrics in installs. Next is failure to get cost-effective downloads. So there's some apps that only focus on running paid acquisition efforts, and they're paying $5 to $10 an install, and they are in a position where they now need to monetize a good portion of their installs to just break even. So not looking at other sources of traffic, not optimizing the App Store page, not putting out organic social media that leads to more organic installs coming in, and just being focused on paid acquisition. Next is spreading the budget too thin across different ad channels. So this is one that we see all of the time, and this happens usually when people haven't really done much marketing in the past, and have a little bit of a lack of understanding on how these algorithms work. And to give you kind of the basic overview, they're massive algorithms, and the more data points that you give them, the more optimized they will be, and the better at identifying people that will actually become customers they will become. So we want to make sure that we are focusing on one, maybe two channels to begin with, fully optimizing them, get a good cost per acquisition before turning your focus to a new ad channel. Next is scaling up marketing spend before proving out the conversion funnel. This is a very fast way to go broke. If you want to start spending a lot of money on paid user acquisition before really focusing on optimizing your onboarding and acquisition funnel, you are just going to be flushing money down the toilet. It's as simple as that. If your product is unable to convert interest into installs into subscribers, you need to focus on that into subscribers part first. Really focus on optimizing that initial touch point to make sure that those installs are actually turning into paid subscribers. And once you've optimized that, then you can really start scaling up the paid user acquisition and start getting as many installs as possible. Financial fail points. So number one is lack of funding. I'm not saying that it is impossible to bootstrap an app. It absolutely is. There's plenty of examples of companies that started off with bootstrapping and then they've become giant successes in this space. However, I am saying you need to understand that you have a lack of capital. You need to incorporate that into every strategy that you implement. So don't just spend all of your money on paid user acquisition. Instead, focus on building out your social media platforms. Put a really big focus into App Store optimization, and really have a product-led growth strategy that has the product, or make sure that your product has feedback funnels, feedback loops that add more users into the top of funnel, referral programs, social features, things that really get people talking and get people onto the app. Mismatch of growth strategy and financial constraints. As I was saying, putting too much focus on the most expensive channels can be a really quick way to go in broke and being put in a very tough position. The third one is a poor monetization strategy, or the belief that I'll figure that part out later. This is particularly important for people that are bootstrapping. There needs to be a monetization plan in place, a way to generate revenue in the short term, and not just, we'll figure that part out once we get to 50,000 installs. There's a lot of apps that did try that. They were not profitable at all at the beginning, and they tried to implement paid features later on, and they really struggle with it. A recent example of this is Reddit. Reddit has they made a lot of the third-party apps banned in the App Store, and they're trying to migrate everyone to their main app and implement different monetization strategies. And it has led to a good amount of users dropping off the platform completely. And they've really, really struggled with figuring out that monetization piece. A little bonus tip here is if you are just starting out, apply for the startup credits or the startup programs for the iOS Store and the Google Play Store. This will bring the commission fee down from 30% to 15%, really helping the unit economics at the beginning of your growth journey. Some data fail points is non-existent or incomplete data tracking. This is essentially flying blind. You're not understanding what is working, what is not working, and you're really unable to course correct and figure out what strategy is going to work best for you moving forward. And then if you do have this incomplete data, you're forced to make decisions based off the incomplete data. You may cut an acquisition channel that actually was working really well for you, but you didn't have enough data points to really figure that out. And then finally, a failure to listen to your data. You always want to make sure that if the data is telling you something, you should listen. Don't always just go with your intuition, particularly if it is going in direct opposition of what the data is telling you. So now let's take a look at some strategies for optimizing your product for growth. The first strategy that I briefly mentioned is launch an MVP. Launch an MVP with your core features first into the market. This allows quick market entry, allows you to validate the product and potentially start generating revenue fairly quickly without overextending yourself and having too much financial risk. If you fully develop out a product prior to launch, there's apps that spend $250,000, sometimes up and over $1 million just to get it to market. Instead, spend $50,000, maybe $100,000 on building an MVP that allows you to test the market out, allows you to see how much do these people really care about solving the problem in this way before fully committing. And it also allows you to get real world data, gives you user insight, feedback, and allows you to much more easily pivot in a new direction if needed. So an action item, this is kind of even before a traditional MVP. What I suggest is start with a landing page. Have a landing page that features your core messaging, then run an ad campaign to collect emails from interested users. This can be done for $500, maybe $1,500 at most to get some real insight. And if people actually care about that, if people want more, if people are signing up, then you move into building the actual MVP. You hire a developer, you start building out that product. And having these emails is also a really good sounding board. You can update them on where you're at. You can ask them for additional features that they would love to see. You're starting to build out a community from the very, very start. A real-world example of a company that started as an MVP is Facebook. Facebook did not start as a massive social media platform. They started as a messaging board for students to connect and share updates within their school. But over time, as they tested and iterated, eventually they became the giant that they are today. Number two is clearly define an initial target market. So create and validate detailed user personas to identify and target potential users for your app. Why this is important is it allows for focused feature development that directly addresses user needs, enables precise and effective marketing messaging, and increases the likelihood of product market fit. Some action items here is conduct user interviews and surveys to uncover specific needs and gaps within the current solutions, and run an ad campaign targeting your market with your core value proposition to gauge interest. As I was mentioning, you can do this before you even start to build. Another way that you could do this is you could run campaigns directly to your social media platforms. So you can run follower campaigns on Facebook to see if people are interested in that core message. And if they are, they'll follow your Facebook page, and that can start building up some overall credibility for your brand, and also expand your reach. You can send messages to your followers. You can put information out about your product that will lead them to installing your product in the future. A real world example of a company that really understood their early day market is DoorDash. So DoorDash initially started out by targeting college students, and tested demand by putting up flyers around campus with really good deals with local restaurants. The reason why they did such a good job here at identifying the college student market is they were able to get both their drivers as well as a good market from this marketing. College students always looking for good deals on food. They're definitely very price sensitive. So if you're able to give a good deal, they are going to move with that. But they are also needing extra cash. They need casual work while they focus on their studies. So they would also very likely become the drivers, and they did become the drivers. And it allowed DoorDash to really fuel its growth in the early days. Build alongside your users. So the strategy here is gather and apply user feedback at every stage of growth. Why this is important is it keeps the product aligned with your user needs and expectations, increases user engagement and loyalty, and offers a steady flow of ideas for improvement and innovation. Some action items here is add a user feedback section in the app settings. Always ask for how people are, or always ask for insights into how people are moving through your app. Are they enjoying the features that you currently have? Is there anything that they feel like they're missing from your current offering? Send customer satisfaction emails asking what features they'd like to see next. This gives you a constant source of ideas for how you can really innovate your product moving forward. A real world example of a company that does this exceptionally well is Netflix. Their platform is entirely shaped on user feedback and what people want to watch. So they are, on the back end, they're tracking how many people are watching a particular show. They're seeing how many people are liking certain shows. They're seeing how many days shows are lasting within the top 10 most watched shows. This data shapes which shows are going to get renewed, what shows they're going to cut out of their platform, and what types of shows there is demand for, and they should create more of in the future. Engineer virality. So the strategy here is add features that encourage users to invite friends and family to the app. Why this is important is it builds a loyal user base without additional acquisition cost, and it boosts user engagement and retention. It keeps people engaged in what you're doing. It keeps people, or it turns people into promoters for you. And they're going to feel a loyalty to your brand now that they've told their friends and family. They've kind of put their reputation out there in the world. So they're going to want to make sure that you're backing it up, and they're going to be very engaged in what you're doing. Some action items here is create a referral program. So users can earn premium features on the app by inviting others to the app. And if relevant, add social features like challenges and community boards. I do want to kind of add some caution to adding social features. Don't force it. If your app is not an inherently social app, don't try to put it in there. Like if you're a death planning app, don't add social features to that. That is not appropriate. That is not going to help you grow in any way. However, if you are a health and fitness app, social features could be really, really helpful. Take Strava, for example. They've built their entire platform on the social element of working out and sharing that with the world. So make sure that you are closely looking at your product and evaluating if social features are actually going to help or hinder you. A real-world example of a referral system is Uber. Uber created a dual-sided referral system to attract both drivers and users. So to dive a little bit deeper into this, what they did is they created incentives for drivers and incentives for drivers, or for riders rather. So on the driver's side, if a driver invited one of their friends and they became a driver, they would get a one-time cash payment for doing that referral. And this incentivized them to constantly be sending more referrals and trying to get as many people as possible onto the Uber driver side. And then for the riders, if you invited your friends and family onto the app, you'd get a free ride. So this created incentives on both sides of the app for the users to really invite as many people onto it as possible. Conversion optimization. So prioritize optimizing your onboarding and conversion funnel before product testing, or through product testing before scaling up your ad budgets. Why this is important is it streamlines the most pivotal part of your acquisition funnel. Make sure that people are not just installing your app, but actually being activated onto the app itself. And it prevents people from dropping off right after installing. It enables scalable user growth, and not just scalable, but profitable user growth, which is very, very important if you want to last in the App Store for the long run. So some action items here is use a tech stack that lets you identify the exact screens where users are dropping off. Then once you've identified the problem areas, conduct A/B testing to identify an onboarding process that engages users and converts them into paying customers. Some best practices here is keep selling during the onboarding process. Reassure users that they've came to the right place to solve their problem. Subscription apps introduce the paywall at the peak of excitement when people really see the light. They see how your solution is going to help them in their daily life. And then study successful revenue generating apps to learn how they onboard users. If there's one in your industry already, take a close look at them. I suggest screen capping it so you can review it again after. But yeah, like take a video of you walking through that entire process and really study what they do to build that excitement throughout the funnel, how they present the paywall, how they effectively use questions to prime users and have people really believe that the solution is custom built for them. And then strive to convert users on day one. So in the app space, every single day that goes by, there's a massive drop off in how many people are still on an app. The average after 30 days is between 2 to 3% of people that install an app are still active after those 30 days. So it is very important to convert people as early on as possible. If you can convert people during that initial onboarding process and collect a credit card, fantastic. You can implement a lot of strategies here, like you can have a free trial, but making sure that they put the credit card details in, they've committed to the purchase, even if you're not banking the revenue yet, that they've still made that emotional decision to commit to this. Headspace is an app that has really refined the onboarding process. So let's walk through the way that they present themselves right at the beginning and how they build that excitement, how they convert people from an install into a subscriber. So it really starts from the App Store itself. You can see that their branding is very consistent. You can really get a sense of what they're all about just by taking a quick look at that. And also looking at their app title and subtitle. So Headspace, sleep and meditation, mental health and wellness coach. Just from these two lines, essentially, you have a very clear idea of what they're all about. What, like, the value that they are going to they're going to provide. Once you get onto the app itself, you're greeted with Headspace. Once again, very clear branding there. Then they do something pretty unique right after this. They get you to actively meditate, essentially. They get you to breathe in, breathe out. And right away, you see the benefit of using the app. You are already lowered your stress levels. You've already kind of got the core element of meditation right then and there. So this is a masterclass of showcasing your value right away. After that quick mindfulness exercise, they get you to create an account. So you press on the create account button and it prompts you with a lot of different sign-in options. So there's continue with Google, Apple, Facebook. This is something that a lot of apps just starting out do not do. And it can create some major friction points. Let's say you have an account creation process that requires email. People put their email in and then it sends a verification code to the email. And then 5 minutes later, you're still waiting for that verification code. You send it again, it doesn't come. And that is their first experience with your brand. They're likely not going to stick around. That is probably their last experience with your brand right then and there. So by offering these different social sign-in options, it really kind of goes around those potential friction points and creates a very streamlined process where people are just a couple clicks away from jumping right into your app. Also, another benefit there is it doesn't require you to put in a password. I don't know about you, but I am a person that constantly forgets my passwords, especially if I'm using it across different apps and it doesn't save it. So that reduces the whole lost or forgot password process that can create another friction point for people to re-engage on your app in the future. After the account creation, it continues to sell. So mindfulness for any moment, stress less, move more, sleep soundly. Then some social proof, join millions of people caring for their minds. and then some data that really back up using this app on a regular basis. They then do something really key here. They ask a question, and they ask a question that is directly related to reasons why someone would download the app in the first place. So some of those major reasons could be reducing stress, manage anxiety, sleep soundly, be mindful or be present and mindful. By asking this question, they are priming the users to input the exact reason why they downloaded this app in the first place. And by doing that, the user is now thinking, oh, this is the place to go to manage my anxiety. This is how I reduce my stress. This is how I'm going to sleep better. And they are self-reporting their main pain point. So they do a really, really great job of kind of priming the users correctly at this stage. This also has another benefit for Headspace. Headspace now collects really, really key data points. They know what percentage of their users are here to reduce stress, which percentage of people are here to manage anxiety, sleep soundly. And they are now able to feed that data back into their acquisition system. Like, let's say 40% of people download this to sleep soundly. Now they know, okay, we should reallocate more of our ad spend budget around our sleep specific campaigns, because this is clearly something that people really care about. So it creates a really good data point for them to really build out their overall marketing plan. Then after this, after they've self-reported why they're here, hit them with a paywall and convert them into a free trial. So how do you track all of this data around your product? So there's kind of two options here, either the no low cost essentials and then the scaling tech stack. When you're just getting started, Firebase is going to be a really great tool. It's a free tool from Google. You can use it for product analytics, doing some basic A/B testing on the product, sending out some push notification and engagement processes. And then for revenue tracking, just relying on the App Store data. And then if you're running any advertisement campaigns, an attribution tracker or MMP will be really important. I'll touch on this a little bit more later on in this presentation. Once you're starting to scale up your overall acquisition efforts, once you're really starting to want to optimize your product to its full capability, there are some additional tools that will help you along that journey. From a product analytics standpoint, Mixpanel and Amplitude are really great at building out overall customer journey maps, understanding how people are moving throughout the overall funnel, where exactly they seem to be dropping off, and what you can do to really adjust things and create an onboarding process and an overall product that is converting and keeping people on the app for the long run. Product testing, Optimizely is a really great tool for that. And then push notifications and engagement, OneSignal, Braze, CleverTap, all fantastic tools. And then revenue tracking, Adapty.io and RevenueCat. Both these tools allow you to kind of test out different paywalls and then track how much revenue you are generating. Also gives you really great numbers for the LTV of a user, the lifetime value of a user, to understand how much a paying user is really worth for you. Now I'm going to jump into user acquisitions and some strategies that you can implement to start getting more users to your app. Now that you've addressed your product issues, you've figured out why people seem to be dropping off, we want to start getting aggressive. We want to start getting as many users as possible on your app. So this is how we do that. So the main ways that we can get users onto an app is one, App Store optimization. Optimizing your App Store listing to make sure that people are easily able to find your app in the app stores. Paid user acquisition, running campaigns across a variety of different channels, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Google Ads, Apple Ads. Really choosing the channels that make most sense to reach your target demographic. Product-led growth, some of the strategies that I was mentioning before, making sure that your product is one that is going to continue to feed itself. You're going to spend a little bit of money on marketing. There's going to be users that go on there, and those users are going to become promoters for you, and really share it with as many people as possible. Organic content, putting out content across your own branded social media platforms. So building out your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, making sure that you are putting out consistent content on these channels, and building a following. Influencer marketing, aligning yourself with an influencer that is going after the same market as you, and really piggybacking off their audience. Traditional marketing, running campaigns on TV, radio, billboards, publications, and PR, and a direct B2B sales approach. So an effective strategy is likely going to use a lot of these, especially over the entire lifetime of a product. However, the core essentials is the top row. So App Store optimization, paid user acquisition, product-led growth, and organic content. Organic content is one that I really believe the entrepreneurs should be the one leading that up. They're the one that's closest to the brand, and it is one that really costs a lot to outsource, particularly when you're getting into video content. It can become very, very expensive to outsource that skill set. So I definitely recommend entrepreneurs to really be generating as much content as possible for themselves, and that can really help boost the overall growth of your company. But for the rest of this presentation, I'm going to focus primarily on App Store optimization and paid user acquisition. So starting with App Store optimization. So App Store optimization is the process of optimizing different factors, like your app title, subtitle, hidden keyword field, and short and long description, that really tells the stores what words you should be showing up for. If you do this successfully, it has huge potential to benefit your company. 65% of all installs from apps come directly from the App Store page, or directly from the App Store. So finding you through different lists, through organic search. So we want to make sure that we're positioning ourselves correctly within that store to capture as much of this organic growth as possible. So why ASO matters? First, it increases visibility, so it boosts your ranking within the iOS and Google Play Store. It reduces your customer acquisition costs, so it makes your company much more profitable if you're able to get essentially free users that are downloading your app. It increases conversion, so you're better able to capture the interest generated by your App Store page. And then it builds brand trust. So the App Store page is usually the first or one of the very first touch points that you have with a user. So you want to make sure that you are showing that they came to the right place to solve their particular issue. So the key components of App Store optimization is first keyword research. So identifying the keywords that your target audience is actively searching for in the App Store. And once you've identified the keywords that really offer the most potential, so these are going to be words that there's a lot of people searching up, there's not too many competitors going after those specific keywords, you will then input those keywords into your app title, subtitle, hidden keyword field on the iOS side, and then on the Google Play side, your app title, short and long description, to make sure that you're targeting those words. And then ratings and reviews is another really important piece. So gathering good ratings and reviews can help boost credibility, and it also has a pretty big impact on the ranking algorithm. Making sure that we're maintaining at least a 4-star rating. If you drop a little bit below that, you can definitely come back from it. But if you have thousands upon thousands of 1-2-star ratings, and very few 5-star, 4-star ratings, you're going to be putting yourself in a hole that is very difficult to dig out of. So if there is any issues that people are constantly saying, there's constant negative reviews saying like there's a bug that I'm facing, this thing is not usable, make sure that you prioritize that. Make sure that you drop everything to fix those issues so that you can really stop the bleeding and kind of fix what is causing those issues. And then to kind of dig yourself out of that hole, I'd recommend replying to every negative review that you have, and just showcase that you care. You're trying to improve. You're taking their feedback, and you understand that there was some issues and a lot of they're not going to change that every single time. But out of 1,000, if we can get 250 people to change their mind and now give us a 5-star rating, we've turned a bad situation into still a little bit of a bad situation, but much less harmful to your brand in the long run. And then downloads. Downloads are another really important part of the ranking algorithm. And we want to make sure that we're getting as many downloads as possible over time, as that allows us to target much more high traffic keywords. Let's take the example of meditation again. The keyword meditation is going to be next to impossible for you to rank number 1 for right from the very beginning. There's apps that have been in the App Store for 5-10 years now that have millions and millions of downloads. So you're not going to be able to rank number 1 for that keyword. However, that's not to say there's no opportunity whatsoever. We can now focus on more long tail combinations that have less search traffic, but also less competition. There's still hundreds, maybe thousands of people searching up these keywords every month. So we can now position ourselves to be the ones that rank high for those keywords. And then over time, as we get more and more downloads, we can then shift our focus to the more competitive keywords. So some tips on conducting keyword research for ASO is first starting with a brainstorm process. So consider keywords and search queries your users may use when searching up for an app like yours. The way that I brainstorm keywords may be helpful for you is I just set a timer. I put 20-30 minutes on the clock, and just try to get the stream of consciousness to kick in. Just write down as many keywords as I can possibly think of related to a particular app. Once I've created this initial list, that's when I start using some AI tools. So I go into ChatGPT, type in as much information about the app I'm working with as possible, and then ask it, okay, can you create a list of keywords that is related to this app? Now I'm usually at a couple hundred of keywords, somewhere between 300 to 500 keywords. This is when I start leveraging keyword research tools. So some free tools that you can use is Google Keyword Planner, and then through Apple Search Ads that they have a keyword planner for search ads. These allow you to type in one keyword and then it's going to spit out a bunch of related terms. So type in some of the ones that you've already generated and then get another list of related terms and add those all to the master list. Then you can start using ASO tools, tools like App Radar, App Tweak. This allows you to see the actual search traffic of all the keywords that you've already generated which ones are high volume, which ones have low competition, and that's kind of the sweet spot that you're looking for. High volume, low competition. Sometimes it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack, but they definitely exist out there. You just got to keep searching for those opportunities. Next, you want to analyze your competition. So using tools like AppRadar, AppTweak, as I was mentioning, you can input your major competitors in there and see what keywords they're ranking for. What keywords are they ranking in the top 10 for? Top 50, top 100. This can really help build that list out further and find those potential keywords that offer really good potential for you just starting out. Another important element of ASO is conversion rate optimization. So how well are you able to convert traffic that goes onto your App Store page into an install? So there's a number of different factors that can help boost this conversion rate. One is an app logo, an eye-catching logo that really captures your brand's essence and making it recognizable and memorable, so people get that instant brand recognition with you. Screenshot optimization. This is the number one most important factor in improving this conversion rate. By optimizing these screenshots, you're able to really show the key benefits of your app, unique features, and enhancing the overall appeal of your app and improving the conversions. People really don't give you that much time on the App Store page. I've done quite a bit of research on this, and people really only give you between 10 to 20 seconds. They make a fairly snap decision on if your app is suitable or not. So making sure that you have screenshots in place that really quickly showcases your core value and shows people why they should press the install button. Custom product pages. This helps you test out alternative messaging and designs, so you can test out different markets. This is not something that I usually recommend starting with. This is more of an optimization tool that you can use to improve the conversion rate further. But it can really help hone in your messaging to make sure that people know they've came to the right place. Let's take a journey as an example. Let's say someone saw an ad on Facebook. Let's go back to Headspace around sleeping soundly. They see that, they're like, oh, I really want to make sure that I'm sleeping soundly tonight. I've been sleeping really poorly for the past month or two. Let's press on this ad. And then they go to the App Store page and they see all very meditation heavy stuff. They're like, oh, I wasn't really expecting this to be only meditation. Maybe this isn't the right fit for me. However, if they have a custom product page in place that aligns itself directly to the messaging of that campaign, all of a sudden that user came to this page and they're like, oh, yes, this is the place for me. This is really solving that issue. I'm now going to be able to sleep soundly at night. This app is the one. So custom product pages can really help improve the conversion rates for you. However, it does take a lot of creative resources, especially if you're making it for every single campaign that you're running. So may not be something that you do right away, but over time can become a really good strategy for you. Next is localization. So localizing your app by adopting language, cultural references, and keywords that resonate with local audiences. This can really help boost the overall rankings within those countries, but also improve the conversions within them as well. And then a preview video that really showcases your app's core functionality and features, and engaging users and driving more downloads. Once again, this is usually a more later term strategy. If you're just starting out, I don't recommend you starting with a preview video. The reason for that, especially on the iOS side, is you need to show all in-app footage. So if your app is just launched as an MVP, you're going to be developing it out pretty significantly over the coming months. You're going to be in a position where you're having to create a new video every couple of months, and that can increase the cost quite a bit. Videos are, well, they're not expensive, but they're definitely not cheap. And if you are bootstrapping, you're going to want your capital to go as far as possible. So preview video is one that's nice to have, but not essential. So there's some major differences between the iOS side and the Google Play side. The most significant difference between the iOS store and the Google Play store is how you repeat keywords. So on the iOS side, you do not want to repeat keywords at all. You want a keyword to show up a single time between your app title, subtitle, and hidden keyword field. Whereas on the Google Play side, you want those major keywords to be showing up as many times as possible. So you're going to want to repeat your core keywords in your app title, short description, and then repeat it a lot of times in the long description. However, there is some unifying factors between them. App title is important for both. The subtitle is important for the iOS store, whereas it's called short description on the Google Play Store. And then the iOS App Store uses the keyword field, whereas the Google Play Store uses the long description. But installs engagement is super important for both. Ratings and reviews are always important. And they're both wanting to see that you're consistently updating your app. So if you haven't updated your app in quite a long time, that can actually negatively impact your placement within the App Store. So you want to aim for an update once a month is ideal. But if that is just too much for you, maybe you're working by yourself, aim for once every 3 months at least to make sure that you are keeping up with the latest. So let's take a look at some different companies and strong ASO versus not so strong ASO. So Headspace, I'm using them as an example quite a bit here today, but they do a really great job of their App Store optimization. As I was mentioning before, the title, Headspace, sleep and meditation, mindfulness, and mental health, right away you get a very good understanding of what they're all about. And then the screenshots, they just continue on with this. The first one, award-winning, stress less, sleep soundly, learn to meditate in a few minutes a day. So they focus really on the core value right there, and clearly articulate why someone should install this app. Someone that doesn't do such a good job with their ASO is an app that I just found randomly in the App Store. So if I found them in the App Store, maybe other people can too. But they are committing a couple of major sins in the App Store that is going to significantly lower their visibility. So lose weight with AJ Andrew Johnson meditation. So app title, subtitle. Andrew Johnson, this is not a really well-known name, especially in this space. I was looking up the traffic for it, and really no one is searching up Andrew Johnson. So this is essentially waste of characters here. So this is not going to help you rank for relevant keywords for your app. Same with AJ. It's not really going to help showcase what you're all about. It's also doesn't really have any branding. There's no branded term that you're wanting to rank for. And I am just left confused at what this is all about. lose weight with AJ and then meditation. It's not clear if this is like a weight loss app, if it's a meditation app, if it's a meditation to lose weight app. It's very, very unclear of the actual value that it provides. And the screenshots do not help at all in terms of answering that question. So some ways that we could fix this, and I kind of assumed that it is kind of a mindful weight loss process, is add a brand name that is related to the space. So I called it Focus, Mindful Weight Loss, and then the subtitle, Meditation for a Healthy Life. So this is now targeting quite a few different keywords that we weren't previously, but it also targets combinations of this. So meditation, mindful, focus meditation, weight loss for a healthy life. We're now going to be ranking for a lot of different combinations of these keywords that is really going to help with the overall visibility in the App Store. So some tools that we can use to really get the insights that we need to build out a winning ASO strategy. So some free tools, as I was mentioning before, Apple Search Ads Keyword Generator. Apple Search Ads has a tool that autofills related terms to help you build out your keyword list. And then the Google Keyword Planner, very similar. It has a autofill tool that you can type in some relevant information. You can also add like a URL to your website, and then it can build out a bunch of keywords that you should be targeting. And then the paid tools, and paid tools are definitely necessary here if you're seriously trying to optimize your ASO strategy. So some tools here that you could implement is App Figures, Sensor Tower, App Tweak, and App Radar. They all help with the keyword research process, understanding what competitors are ranking for, and what keywords we should be implementing into our metadata. So now let's focus on paid user acquisition and some strategies and channels that we can implement in order to get the best possible paid traffic onto our app. So there's a number of different channels that we can run campaigns on. I'll kind of walk through some of the major ones here. So starting with Apple Search Ads. And Apple Search Ads is usually the first platform that I really recommend people to start putting some budget out on. It enables targeting users searching in the App Store, making it perfect for app install campaigns. And there's typically fairly high intent with Apple Search Ads. If people are searching up meditation app and your meditation app, that's pretty high intent. And if and with Apple Search Ads, you can show up as the top result. So if you can present yourself right there at the very top and give you a lot of visibility and get people to start installing your app. Facebook and Instagram, the largest social media platform, they're ideal for targeting specific demographics and interests, and often deliver the highest quality installs. And you can optimize for specific actions in app to make sure that the people that you are acquiring with these campaigns are actually becoming users and becoming subscribers. Google Ads, the largest search and display network, excellent for targeting specific keywords and placements. There's quite a few different placements that you can have with Google Ads. There's a search directly on the Google search engine, YouTube, within the Play Store if you are a Google Play app as well. So there's quite a few different types of ads and assets that can really convert well into paying users. TikTok, highly visual platform with high engagement where UGC style videos performs better than traditional ads. That's a very important distinction here. Like an ad that may work on other platforms is not going to work on TikTok. If you If you smell like an ad on TikTok, people are going to be running away. However, if you create a UGC style video that really blends in with the organic content that's on TikTok, um, you can actually become very, very popular. You have a chance of actually like going viral with an ad, which doesn't really happen on other channels. So it presents an interesting opportunity for people to create really engaging video that can perform really, really well for your brand. So some other options here is third-party ad networks, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Reddit, and then yeah, there's a lot of other small platforms that you can be running ads on. But I don't recommend pursuing these other options until you've really optimized these first four, depending on which ones make most sense for your brand. So some best practices for paid user acquisition include choosing the right platforms. So research your target audience, understand what channel they are going to be on most often, and then put ads on that channel. So if you're going after a target demographic of 45 to 65, TikTok probably isn't the best channel for you. Instagram probably isn't even the best channel for you. Facebook would be your core channel, and then you can do a little bit of testing on Instagram as well. So make sure that you are presenting yourself where your target audience is going to be on most often. Test, and test some more. So continuously test everything. Test your imagery, your messaging, to discover what truly resonates with your audience. So yeah, you want to be constantly in a mindset that things can always get better. You can always find an ad concept that is going to perform better. So test every single thing ever, and that will put you on the track to being to having a successful campaign moving forward, or more successful campaign. Craft engaging content. Make sure that you're creating unique, engaging content that's tailored to each platform and resonates with your audience. And this content doesn't need to be like the most crazy campaign ever. Like sometimes the more simple concepts actually perform best. Like I've seen a graphic that was literally just a blank graphic with a very insightful question that audience would care about. And it performed better than some videos that people spent 20 hours developing. So sometimes the more simple concepts perform better, but make sure that you know what your audience actually cares about, so that you can create content that they're going to care about. And don't spread budgets too thin. I went over this before, but I definitely want to repeat it. Avoid testing too many channels all at the same time. Testing different channels is important. It definitely is. But if you only have $5,000 to spend on ads, you're much better off finding one winning channel than testing 5 and optimizing none. So some strategies that you can implement with Apple search ads. The first one is a strategy that we've implemented a couple times over the past couple of years. It's an ASO boosting strategy. So this is an app launch Apple search ads strategy. So when you're just launching into the App Store, you start with an aggressive ad budget for the first 3 months, roughly $10,000 per month. You bid on highly relevant keywords you want to rank for. And then after 3 months, you reduce to a monthly budget of about $2,500. What you will see with this is a rapid boost in organic ASO rankings, increased download velocity, and early ratings and reviews. This strategy may not work in every single category. Like if your category doesn't really have any organic traffic, you're creating a brand new category within the App Store essentially. it's probably not the best strategy to implement, and you'll likely want to move more to awareness campaigns on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But if you are going into a category that is competitive, there's a lot of keyword traffic for it already, that can be a really good way to enter into that market. Competitor ads. So research your competitors to identify their branded keywords and long tail combinations of those keywords that people are searching up for. And then set campaign budgets with a daily budget of between $20 to $50 when you're just starting out. You can also boost that up to like $100, $150. It's probably not going to spend that. So if that $100, $150 is kind of scaring you away from putting it, it's likely going to spend $30 to $50 at the beginning per day. But by increasing the budget, it gives it a little bit more runway that if it finds a really good keyword, it can start scaling up, but you do need to be careful and watch those campaigns very quickly because when you're just starting out, they can sometimes start spending on a keyword very inefficiently, and you'll want to make sure that you get on top of that quickly and pause it. Pause the keyword, not the campaign. I want to clarify there. So yeah, this typically captures traffic from competitors at a cost of between $3 to $4 in install, which is great for you. You're able to capture interest that would previously have went directly to your competitor and gather that for yourself. Category campaigns, so conducting keyword research to identify high search volume keywords related to your app. These are often high competition keywords that are difficult to rank for organically, but you can rank very highly for them, well, number one for them on the paid side. So making sure that you understand what keywords you can rank for organically and which keywords you can have a paid strategy to rank high for. So to optimize your acquisition efforts, there's some different tools that can really help you out. First is the attribution tracker, or MMP. So the major players in this space include Adjust, AppsFlyer, and Branch. The key value that they provide is it allows you to gain insight into the return on ad spend, or ROAS, of your campaigns to understand how profitable those campaigns are for you, and if you should continue with that channel or if you should look somewhere else to see if you can get a better ROAS. It also passes post-install data back to the ad channel for campaign optimization. So really what this looks like is if you're running a campaign on Facebook and someone installs the app and then they complete the onboarding process, they start a subscription. The start subscription event is one that you could pass directly back to Facebook and then say to Facebook, okay, I want you to target people that look like these people that actually committed to the subscription. So then it's going to now create an audience that looks more like those people and really levels up your targeting and only targets people that are more likely to actually become a paid subscriber, really improving the effectiveness and profitability of your campaigns. And then it also gives you access to the SCAD network and ATT prompting, so allows you to ask people to opt into being tracked, which gives us much more clean data, so we can track people one-to-one from campaigns. And then if people opt out of being tracked, they go through what is called the SCAD network. And this uses an algorithm to predict what campaign they came from, giving us some insights. However, the data is a little bit incomplete. So we want to make sure that we're trying to get as many people to opt in with the ATT prompt to being tracked as possible to give us the best acquisition data. And then for competitive intelligence, there's a number of different tools that you can use, including Sensor Tower, App Annie, it's Data AI now, Sensor Tower, and Data AI have also begun a merger process. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out over the coming months. Apptopia, App Figures, Mobile Action, and then App Magic. All these tools give you a lot of insight into how much competitors are making, what their revenue looks like, what their installs look like, to really figure out where the opportunities lie within the App Store. So we'll finish off by taking a look at some key performance metrics, some things that you should definitely know about your app, and things that you should keep a close eye on to make sure that you're optimizing in the right way. So we typically use what's called the pirate metrics. They include acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. So with acquisition, you'll want to know how many downloads you're getting on a daily, monthly, quarterly basis. Download growth rate, so are you getting more installs than you were during the previous period? Cost per install, how much it costs for you to acquire a single install, and then the App Store conversion rate, how well you're able to capture interest into install. Activation, the onboarding conversion, so how well you're able to convert an install into an actual user. And then the free trial to paid user conversion rate if you are implementing a free trial. And really, activation is looking at, does your app deliver quick value? Do people see the value quickly and commit to a subscription? Retention, so the stickiness ratio here is the daily active users over monthly active users. So how often are people coming back onto the app? Are they going on the app every single day? Are they going on the app once at the beginning of the month, once week 3? Or do they use it once and then never go back onto the app ever again? So this is different for different types of apps, but is something that you definitely want to keep a close eye on. User retention rates, so how well you are retaining users. As I was mentioning earlier in this presentation, the average retention day 30 is between 2 to 3%. So we want to make sure that we are at least staying average, or if not exceeding average. Speed and latency, so how well things are loading. Is there any crash issues? Are people running into issues with any parts of the app? And average app rating, so do people actually like what we're all about? Are we asking people for a rating or review at the right time? And if we are, is that actually leading to positive ratings? Referral, K-factor, and virality measures, so how many people is one install turning into? So are people sharing this app with their friends and family? Are they becoming that promoter that we're looking to turn them into? And then revenue, revenue per download, lifetime value, and the cost per acquisition. And then figuring out the ratio between lifetime value and customer acquisition cost to see if we're able to profitably scale things up. So thank you everyone for joining me today. So I kind of walked through quite a bit of information on the mobile app space and some different tactics that you can implement to really create a profitable mobile business. Would love to talk with